I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about the 5 stages of personal growth. One of the things that we always talk about in our videos is the importance of personal growth, bettering yourself for the long run, right? It's very easy to make some short-term changes and think that they're going to stick. But the reality is, it's not easy to make long-term personal changes.
No.
And so you want to really focus on, becoming the best version of yourself for the long run. And that means you're going to have to consistently make efforts. It's not going to magically happen. A lot of people look for shortcuts.
Right. There are no shortcuts.
And they just want the magic beans, the magic answers, this magical thing that's going to make everything better, and that's just not the way things work.
Don't give up. If we find that, we'll tell you.
Exactly.
We promise.
The real magic is when you truly make the changes. So Margaret has an interesting article that she wanted to share, and we'll talk about it.
Okay. Now, this lady, I think, is coming from a substance abuse background because she almost says the Serenity Prayer at some point in here. But I thought the stages were useful because sometimes we expect ourselves to move faster than is humanly possible.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
So she describes the first state of personal growth as still being asleep.
Okay.
Snoring, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You remember when your conditioning and fears ruled you. That's what it's like to be asleep. You're kind of like on automatic pilot, and you do stuff that you don't think about.
That's right.
Right?
Being unaware, the anxiety especially.
Yeah. Right.
You should see how many people tell me, I had no idea I've been anxious my whole life.
My whole life.
Until I found your videos, I had no idea this wasn't even me.
Right.
And they were asleep, and they just wow. That's one of the reasons that I did the workbooks, because it really helps people see it. And oh my gosh, they're writing it down. These are what I did. I did these same things over and over again.
Right. That's when you were asleep, playing the victim, assuming we don't have the power or ability to change our own lives, placing blame, being afraid, being like our life is not fulfilled. And those are all the common side effects of being asleep.
Yeah.
At some point we realize we've been living our lives on cruise control.
Yeah.
And decide to stop that and try to take control. All right?
Yeah.
Awakening. Usually after a good old-fashioned expectation hangover. Now that's her term. We're going to say breakup here because that's very much the same thing.
Yeah.
Usually after a not-so-good breakup, when we've expected certain things from ourselves or others and found ourselves disappointed again, we finally wake up and start asking ourselves why this keeps happening.
Yes.
We begin to learn that our experiences aren't random, and we start looking for answers. We connect the dots and recognize that life is about learning and finding our true selves.
Yeah.
We have a lot of realizations, both exciting and sometimes even overwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay, so you begin to say, wait a minute, this same thing seems to have happened twice. Maybe I better take a look at this.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is the patterns.
Yeah.
We start to think, wait a minute, I've had the last 3 people I've dated say I'm selfish and that I didn't listen to them. I wonder if it's they were right.
You don't by any wild chance think.
Because a lot of times we just don't have it hit us.
Yeah.
And then it hits us and we're like, oh my gosh, it's true.
Right.
And then you'll see the videos with the symptoms I'm explaining, and attachment and anxiety, and and they're like, "Whoa, this is incredible!" It really does feel like an awakening.
And what class were you ever in that you were told you needed to learn to be self-aware? Right?
Yeah.
I think, schools make some efforts sometimes, but it would be very productive if we taught a little bit about all that. But
Absolutely.
Anyway. All right. So then you get some knowledge. This is integration. In this phase, we shift from knowing to doing.
Yeah.
If you feel like you have a lot of information, but things in your life aren't reflecting that knowledge, you're probably in the integration phase. You haven't had time to work it into your life and integrate it here and there and practice it here and there.
And like that's like when I tell you guys something and you're not able to do it yet, and when it happens in real time, which is what happens for many of these people, is when they have learned something, but they didn't integrate it enough to where they can do it when they were in front of their ex.
Right.
Which is why I say do the workbooks a little bit every day,
Yeah.
20 to 30 minutes every day.
That'll do it for you.
You need to integrate it.
Yep.
Okay? It's like, Margaret, I thought about this the other day, is like, if you have a group of students and half of them watch a lecture, or just watch the lecture, and half of them take notes and go over it and review it, which half is going to be more successful during the exam? I mean, it's obvious.
I would agree. Yeah.
You gotta really work on things.
The more you put in, the more you get out. All right?
Absolutely.
And I don't know why that's hard, but we're still kind of shocked by it. We can let go of our old stories and upgrade our programming. There's the right information and wording. Here now, we do the courageous emotional work of healing old issues so they no longer define us and hold us back.
Absolutely, yes.
What would be an example? What's an issue that could hold us back?
Maybe if somebody does something that our parents did to us, that would set off our anxiety.
Absolutely, and make us absolutely crazy. Right.
My dad would always disappoint me.
Yep.
And so he always make promises and then break a promise, and then you have a partner that does it. So you're instantly overwhelmed by disappointment.
Or my mother used to tell me I was dumb the same way you just did. Yep. That's right. Those are the things that hold us back.
Yep.
Things we weren't aware of before.
And then we just get sucked into those old emotional states.
We take the tools that we have and the skills we've learned and put them into action.
Yep.
You might find yourself getting do-overs or chances to respond to situations you've encountered before in different ways. And it's easy to say to yourself, oh, this feels like a do-over. I have screwed this up several times in my life. I'm not going to do that this time. Right? This is the most powerful way to break a pattern. Do-overs are the way you integrate awareness and action.
Yep.
All right.
Not easy to get to this place.
No.
That's why I say a little bit every day. You got to keep working. Don't give up. Don't get lazy because you'll regress.
Right. Yep. Keep going, even if it's only a tiny bit a day. Right. And then there's acceptance. Once we've made new habits and are starting to inhabit this new way of being, we begin to accept. We are not new people. We're just more authentically ourselves than ever.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, acceptance, as we all know, is a big concept in substance abuse treatment and a very useful idea. Does this mean we are totally evolved and never have anything to work on? No. We are still human. The only difference is that now, when we get an expectation hangover, we can move past it into acceptance. Okay? And then she repeats, we stop fighting with reality and either accept it or change it. Now, if I recall, that is the Serenity Prayer. In case you don't know what it says, God grant me the serenity to change the things I can change, the courage to go ahead with what I have to do, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay?
Yeah.
So there are some things you can change, there are some things you can't change. And it's very important to accept that and not to keep trying to change the things you can't change.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the other issue around that is when you're asleep and you finally wake up and you want to work on yourself, The first thing not to do is beat yourself up that you're not further along in the process. Another part of acceptance is accepting where you start from, because any place you start is fine. The fifth one is you want to go out and tell everybody about all the wonderful stuff you learned.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sharing it.
Sharing it is the final step. Yeah.
And I think that's great because it helps the people around you
Yes.
to make changes in themselves
Right.
too.
Right.
And then they can be a better support system for you.
Absolutely. It's a good investment in your own support.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
So when you guys share the videos of
right.
Margaret and I, and the people around you start to get healthier, they're going to give you a better listening ear. They're going to be able to encourage you better, or, you know, maybe make recommendations that are more helpful, because
Yes.
let's face it, a lot of us get bad information from
Yes,
friends
we
and
do.
family.
Well-meaning friends and family, but bad information nevertheless.
So the more that they are in a better place, the more they're going to help you get to a better
Hey,
place.
guess what I learned?
Yeah.
I had done this wrong for years, and then this last time, I did it right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big changes come your way that way.
Yes, they do.
That was good. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, put a like on there for Margaret and her research on this one. Of course, when you want to get my help personally, just go to my website at askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret is here for Skype coaching.
Yes, and feel free to sign up with me. I can get you in pretty quickly these days.
That's right. Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to get in with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon.